Hello and welcome to Canguro English. My name is Christian and today is Tuesday. Best day of the week. Today I'm going to be answering some of your questions about the English language. Let's get straight into it. And we're going to start with this question. Today I was talking to a native speaker, to be honest, speaking to a teacher, and I tried to say something like this. Before my daughter has gone to Ireland, is it wrong? He said to me that native speakers don't use perfect tenses in their daily conversations. If I use it, maybe it won't sound natural. Please explain about this. So you were talking to a native speaker and you said, before my daughter has gone to Ireland, and the native speaker told you that it was wrong because native speakers don't use perfect tenses in their daily conversations. Now, I'm laughing only because this is a typical example of a native speaker, like a majority of native speakers, like 99% of English native speakers, like me, right? They know that something doesn't sound right. You know, they're like, that doesn't sound right. But they don't know why. They can't explain why. Because in general, in the kind of Anglo-Saxon education system, we don't learn grammar. So we don't know why it's wrong. We just know it's wrong. And the reason it's wrong is not because people don't use present perfect. No, it's because you made a little grammatical mistake when you used present perfect. Okay, so you said has gone to Ireland, right? Now, we use the present perfect when we want to talk about something in the past, and we want to say that it's something that happened before now, right? Before now. But we do not want to specify when. So we don't want to say it was last week, we don't want to say it was last month, 5 minutes ago, at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. No, we use present perfect when we want to be vague, right? When we want to be non-specific. So you violated the rule, you broke the rule because you said before. And when you said before, you were specifying a time, right? So that's why it sounds wrong to that native speaker, because you mixed something that's non-specific with something specific by saying before. So that's why it's wrong. Now, there's two ways to fix this. You could say, before my daughter went, okay, because past simple is specific, or you could use past perfect to say that it was before, right? So before my daughter had gone to Ireland. Okay, so you're ordering the time. Okay, next question. Could you please be so kind as to explain the difference in meaning of these two sentences containing the subjunctive form? A, it is crucial that a car wait for the boss. B, it is crucial that a car be waiting for the boss. Does the second one imply the idea of the future? Both great examples of the use of the English subjunctive. It's crucial that a car wait for the boss, or it's crucial that a car be waiting for the boss. So, really, the subjunctive doesn't exist in English, right? As a tense. It's not a tense. It's in English, the subjunctive only exists as a construction. Like, we only know that it's the subjunctive because of the complete construction. Now, what is the subjunctive? Like, why do we use the subjunctive? The subjunctive indicates that something is not real, right? It indicates that something is our desire or our intention or our imagination, right? So both of them have that kind of foundation meaning, right? The foundation is that it's something that we want to happen in our imaginations, right? So we want the car to be waiting or to wait. So the only difference is if we're using a kind of a simple tense or if we're using a continuous tense. And so the difference is the same as with all the other simple or continuous tenses. One talks about in general, right? So, it's crucial that a car wait for the boss. I'm kind of, I'm imagining this as an event in a bubble there, and I'm looking at it. Like that's the event in this bubble. Right? And the other one, the car be waiting, I'm experiencing it in progress at that time. I'm imagining the time, I'm in the bubble. I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps. Okay, next question. I just want a little help here. What's the right line between A and B? A, I didn't say anything. B, I didn't say nothing. It's a classic question, right? I didn't say anything, or I didn't say nothing. Which one is correct? So, if you look at a lot of other Romance languages, right? A lot of other European languages, they will use be, right? They'll say, I didn't say nothing. They'll say, no hice nada. Two negatives together in Spanish. Woo, two negatives together. But in English, we are taught at school, you should never put two negatives together in one clause. No. And it's not, I didn't say nothing. That's two negatives, and the universe will end. It's, I didn't say anything. Negative and a positive. Beautiful. Why? The reason is because these academics, these scholars in the past wanted English to be like Latin, because Latin was the best, right? And in Latin you don't have double negatives, right? So they made this rule, they invented this rule, but guess what? English isn't Latin, so it's an invented rule. So the rule is more about class, social classes. It's about, the difference between the educated people who know not to use double negatives and those poor ignorant fools who use double negatives. And this idea, this mentality continues until today. So what it means is that if you use a double negative, which a lot of native speakers do all over the world, you're going to find double negatives in London, you're going to find double negatives in America, okay, especially down the south of America. But for historical reasons, it's associated with a certain type of speaker. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter, because that's reality, right? So you can use double negative just like millions of other people, but remember that people judge how you speak. So when you do that, you're associating yourself with a particular group of people. So I would say that a perfect language user, a really good language learner, would use both. They use this with that group and that with that group. And that's part of being human, being the social animal. And finally, this one. I hate prepositions. I hate prepositions. I hate prepositions. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I think, every language has some aspects which are just kind of, illogical and really complex and require a lot of kind of memorization or maybe no, you can't memorize them. There's no rules. They require experience. All right? It's very frustrating. But two things I want to say. The first thing is that if you hate something, you're developing a really negative relationship with that thing, and it's not going to end well, okay? Positive mental attitude wins every day. So don't hate prepositions. And that's the second reason, the second thing I want to say, right? Don't hate prepositions because they are just a tool to use, right? It's the same as this, right? You want to write a book, but you can't write the book, so you say, I hate pencils. Stupid pencils. No. You don't hate the pencil. The pencil is just a tool. You hate your inability to express yourself, right? So I want to offer an alternative way to look at prepositions. Prepositions are beautiful. And really, when you look at the things that prepositions do in English, it's kind of a magical thing, right? Because I can express all of this meaning in one tiny little word, right? So, for example, I can clean. I can clean. I can clean my desk. I can clean, the walls, right? But if I add that little preposition at the end, if I add up, I say clean up. Up means that I finished the job completely. It's done. The action of the verb is complete, right? So think about how beautiful that is, right? I could say, I have finished cleaning, right? So, or I finished cleaning, right? So I've got this verb and I've got the subject and all this, right? So, but I can just say, I cleaned up. And all of that meaning about finishing the task is all contained in those two words. It's a beautiful thing. So I want you to make prepositions your friend. Like, don't look at prepositions like that kind of angry, that angry, smelly dog that's been out playing in the mud and it comes into the house and sits on your beautiful white sofa. No. Prepositions are the little clean puppy dog with the big eyes looking good. Love me. Well, I hope that you found those answers interesting, and I hope that you learned something about the English language and the way that we use it, and that most of the time it isn't about right and wrong, it's about just being a human. I'm Christian, this is Canguro English, and I'll see you in class.